Hello Mundo Enneagram friends, I am Uranio Paes, and today I'm going to speak about type 5, Enneagram type 5, for Mundo Enneagram students. I am a 5 myself, and I am actually enjoying being here in London, finally with short sleeves and having some warm weather after months of cold weather. Coming from Brazil, it's not easy to face many months of cold weather. This is the end of May here in London. And the reason I'm saying this is because 5s need to come to life and to sense things, to feel heat and warmth, and not to isolate themselves in their caves. So I think it's actually ideal that the weather is like this for me to speak about my own type. And the passion for type 5 is called avarice. But I think this is one of the passions or emotional vices that are least understood by people who start studying about the Enneagram. And let me share with you what I believe to be the main concepts about avarice. What is avarice according to the Enneagram system? Well, first thing to say is that it's not necessarily connected to money. Many concepts around avarice and common sense talk about money or saving money or not wishing to lend money or not wishing to spend money. But this sometimes happens with 5s, but it's not at all what the main concepts of avarice mean. And it's not also related to specific behaviors that 5s have, because passions go much beyond behaviors. Passions are motivations that exist in the heart level. So the state of the heart, usually for 5s, is contracted, and this is avarice itself. What happens with avarice is the shutting down, shutting off the valves of the heart to receive and to give. So what 5s do is to prevent themselves to experiencing the abundance of life force. And there is, in greater reality, an abundance of life force. And we can all experience it if we get present and stay in touch, for instance, with the radiant light coming from the sun, or with the radiant light coming from someone else's heart. And if we really stay connected to this, we will have many experiences of abundance. But abundance is a word that frightens 5s. And 5s retract or contract against abundance by shutting off the receiving capacity of the heart. And if I don't stay in touch with the fullest of life force, I also do not receive much, but I also don't give much, because I have this sense of I need to store this little bit that I'm getting. I need to hoard inside my heart this little bit that I'm getting. So I think you get the concept. Avarice is not receiving even a fraction of what life offers us, and therefore not giving this back to other people and to life itself, and to our own lives as 5s. So the idea behind avarice is a contraction to the ever-flowing energy of life, of everything that can happen. And of course, this also has to do with multiple possibilities that life brings us every day, of new things that we have not predicted should happen. So 5s plan a lot so that they don't need to be in touch with surprises, or other people will not control their agendas. This is a tricky thing for 5s. And sometimes people do not realize this is the true motive behind planning. It's not like a type 1 planning. It's not a perfectionist feature. It's more, I want to control you so that you don't establish the agenda. I will establish the agenda. So the idea is that to deal with avarice, we need to stop planning and we need to open our hearts to receive what's already happening and being able to receive all the noises and the sunshine and the warmth coming from other people's hearts, or the heat and that comes from someone exercising. I mean, I see people exercising in this park right now, and just sensing all of that and exercising myself and staying tuned with life may wake me up in ways that I start receiving. And it's funny because fives have this silly belief that if they spend too much energy, they will end up without energy. But actually, many times, the more energy we spend, the more energy we end up having. So it doesn't work like this. And from a greater reality perspective, there is endless energy. Actually, the quest for fives is the very quest that some philosophers throughout time have been having. The quest for the motuum perpetuum, the endless source of energy, of infinite energy. And holy transparency and holy omniscience, in a way, the two holy ideas of type 5 talk about this in a way. But on the other hand, what is the virtue of non-attachment? It's actually the capacity to be in touch with full of life force and taking it inside ourselves, using our spiritual hearts, who can be sort of visualized in front of our chests and not inside the left side of the chest. So the spiritual heart, we can tune in to this infinite source and good source of that is providing us all the time, and we take in, we become able to receive again, and then we allow it to flow without any need to hoard inside anything, and it flows back to life, to other people and to nature in ways that I become just a conduit of the universe. And it's like becoming a dynamo of energy. Energy comes and goes in a very intense way. Fives, in touch with essence, are among the most intense of all types of the Enneagram. And the reason why, and this is why in personality, they become one of the least intense types. We always go to the other side, you know, to the reverse, the flip side of the coin. We sort of go to the opposite of who we really are. But before we finish the video, I would just like to say a few things about type 5's fixation. Avarice is the passion. And what is the fixation? The fixation for type 5 has to do with controlling time, controlling space, and controlling energy. The control of these resources per se. And it's called greed. There are other names that sometimes are used, but I will use the name greed. It has to do with an idea that these resources are limited and will finish at any time. And it brings to the 5 person a sensation of feeling depleted of energy. Anytime my energy will finish and I will not be able to cope. So if I allow other people to pose demands on me, I won't have enough energy for myself. So I avoid external demands. And what's behind this is this thought that energy is limited and that I need to save energy in terms of saving my own space, people won't invade it, saving my time or determining my agenda myself, or saving my energy. So if I go to the party with you, I'll think in my head at what time I will be back, so that I program an amount of energy that I'll use, that I'll spend, and if it goes a little beyond time, 5 may not be available from an energy point of view in that moment, and we'll retract back. 5s have this interesting secret of how to stay alone in a group of people, and to really build a bubble between them and everyone else, a bubble in which they can hide inside. So this has all to do with greed, which is the very necessity of controlling resources myself. Wisdom for 5s is giving up control, and this has to do with giving up planning. Not planning for the weekend, not planning for the day, for what I'll do next, how long I'll take to do one task or the other task, and just remaining open for whatever comes, and being willing to give the other person the remote control to myself. Like, you will be able to determine what I'm going to do. It's very hard for 5s, but when they do that and they calm down and breathe in and down, this can become a wonderful experience of being really connected, being really in touch, and releasing control. After all, taking bringing the attention to things that are more important than remaining in control of life. We are not in control of life. So this is a little bit of the growth path for 5s. Hope you have enjoyed listening and watching this video, and stay tuned for more on type 5s, on the other 8 types, and on the Enneagram as a whole here on Mundo Enneagrama. Cheers! Bye!